Hey everybody, it's the Ladies of the Real here with an internet exclusive. We are sitting with the Secretary of Education, Mr. John King.
Yes.
Okay, so first off, Mr. King, kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself. Did you go to college? Where did you grow up?
Sure. So I grew up in Brooklyn, went to New York City public schools, and because of the difference teachers made in my life, I had the chance to go on to college, went to Harvard, and then got a doctorate in education and a law degree, and I love school, which should make sense, because given my job.
Yeah, very cool.
So you did start your career off as an educator, and now here you are as President Obama serving as the top education official. Now, I mean, this is amazing, in my opinion. What made you want to be an educator to begin with?
Really was the difference that teachers made in my life. Both my parents were teachers, but they passed away when I was a kid. So my mom passed away when I was 8 in October of my 4th grade year. And I lived with my dad, who was quite sick. He had undiagnosed Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow.
And he passed away when I was 12. And so that period, living with my dad, it was just the two of us. Home was this very unpredictable and scary place. But school was amazing. School was this place where we did productions of Shakespeare in elementary school, where there was stability and structure and things that were interesting and that I was excited about. And in school I could be a kid, even though outside of school I really couldn't. And so later, you know, after I got to college, I started doing work with students. I volunteer work, and I loved it, and so I decided to become a teacher so I could try to do for other kids what teachers had done for me.
That's
Wow. That's amazing. Well, speaking of teaching, we don't see a lot of male teachers today, especially men of color. Why do you think that is, and what do you have to say about that?
Yeah. It's a huge challenge, and you know, now we have a majority of the students in our public schools are students of color, but less than 20% of our teachers are teachers of color. Only about 2% of our teachers are African American men. So these are huge challenges. There's a lot of work that states and districts can do to make teaching a more attractive field. We have to make sure that folks are paid well. We have to make sure that the working conditions are good. And we've got to make sure that teachers feel supported and respected in our society. So there's work to do to make it more attractive. We've also got to make sure that it's financially accessible, that students know that they can get student aid, that they can get loan forgiveness if they pursue a career in education. So we're working with states to implement plans to try and increase the effectiveness of our teachers across the country and the diversity of our teachers across the country.
Now, Secretary King, let's just get to the nitty-gritty. Why college? Because we see a lot of people, we see YouTubers that are millionaires, we see tech folks that are millionaires without having a degree. Why should we go and get a degree?
Well, it's you know, there are those amazing stories, right, of folks who are able to be successful, to be financially successful without college. But it's like playing the lottery. The odds are not in your favor if that's your strategy. And in fact, one of the best strategies you can have is to continue your education after high school. We know that about 3/4 of new jobs require some level of post-secondary training. Now, that might be a 2-year degree, it might be a 4-year degree, it might be a workplace credential, but you need more than just a high school diploma. And so we've got to make sure students know that, and that they know that there's financial aid out there that they can get to support them.
That is awesome. Well, now when you've decided, okay, yes, I want to go to college, the next step is choosing which college to go to. So with so many colleges to choose from, what resources can students and families use to help decide what they should apply for?
Well, research is really important because you want to know what the options are, and you want to think about what kind of experience you want. Do you want an urban school? Do you want a rural school? Do you want a school where you're going to focus on engineering? Do you want a school where you're going to focus on theater?
Lots of options.
There's lots of options. We've got a website, collegescorecard.ed.gov, collegescorecard.ed.gov, where you can get information about graduation rates, the earnings, the average earnings of folks who've graduated from a school, how well folks who've gone to that school are able to take care of their student debt afterwards. So that's one source of information. But then you also want to look at the college website. You want to find out what programs they offer, what experiences you might have there. And then you want to talk to folks who you know who may have gone to those schools, talk to your high school counselor. So that research process is really important for students.
Definitely. Okay, so the First Lady spoke earlier about the FAFSA, which is the Federal Aid, no, it's the Hold on. Free application for federal aid.
Free?
Federal student aid. No, don't. I got this.
Yeah.
Free application for federal student aid. Boom. So when it's that hard to say and know what it's about, why should students actually fill out this form?
It's incredibly important. There's over $150 billion in federal aid for going to school.
How much?
Over $150 billion.
$150 billion, that's
yes,
what it means.
yes.
Money
So
waiting to be taken to go to
exactly.
school.
And we know that over 2 million students every year leave aid on the table because they didn't fill out the FAFSA. So we want students to go to FAFSA.gov to fill out the FAFSA. We've tried to make it shorter and easier to do. We've also tried to make it so you can download information from your tax returns, your parents' tax returns, to make it even easier. So FAFSA.gov, it gives you access not just to federal aid, but FAFSA is also used by states and universities to decide how much aid a student will get. And so it's really the entry point to getting financial aid for school.
Very cool.
I just want you to clear something up because everybody feels like it's hard to fill out this form. Can you just tell the people that can you tell the people the process?
Yeah. So the best thing to do is for them to go to studentaid.gov where they can get information about the process. Okay. You want to make sure you have all your materials ready that you'll need to fill out the form, like tax returns. And then if you have all your materials ready, it can take as little as half an hour to complete the form.
That is
There's
not
more
long.
work to do to keep making it shorter. We want to make it easier for folks, but it's so important, and it can translate into money that will make college possible for folks.
Absolutely.
See, it's not that hard.
And 30 minutes of your life?
Yeah. Well, one thing we do know is that college is really expensive, and even if someone does fill out the FAFSA form, I mean, it's expensive. So what types of financial aid can students receive by just filling out the form? And, because we hear a lot about loans in the news, are loans the only option?
Well, so there's a lot of options. There's Pell Grants, which are federal aid for students who are low-income students. There's subsidized federal loans, where the government essentially pays the interest while you're in school.
Yes.
There's private loans that you can take out. There's scholarships you can get from the university. There's financial aid from the states. Some states give direct grants. Some states also have scholarship programs focused in a particular area if you want to become a teacher or a doctor, do some form of public service. There's loan forgiveness. We've also got a program so that you only have to pay on your direct loans from the government, you only have to pay a maximum of 10% of your income. So that we help people manage their debt. But the key thing is, it can be costly, but you want to make sure you're making a smart investment. It's the right school with a good match for the things you're interested in. And then the investment really pays for itself over time once you get the degree, if you finish.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, we worry that
it pays for itself. Yeah.
That's right. If you finish. And we worry that sometimes folks, start but don't finish. And many of the people who aren't able to pay back their loans, that's really what's happened to them. They've started, they've left school, now they don't have the degree, they can't get the job, so they can't pay back their loans.
Wow.
Got it.
Well, my question is, who can fill out the FAFSA form? Is it for anybody, or do you have to be younger, or can someone like myself, who's taken some time off, obviously, to work, but if you have a dream of going to college, can you still fill out the FAFSA form at an older age?
Absolutely. It's for everybody. So students who are in high school...
You saying my cousin Skillet. He had to use his government name, but he can fill out the form.
Yes, he can fill out the form, and he'll be able to get aid for college.
That is awesome.
Awesome.
That is
thank
really...
you so much.
Thank you
Secretary
so much.
King. We appreciate your time.
This has been so informative. So informative, and definitely if we can get out there again what the website is, I'm sure we'll have it up on our site, but that's pretty much where they can get all this information from.
Yes, studentaid.gov and FAFSA.gov. That's the place to
Boom.
start.
There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again.